Hello, good people. Sleep Token has put out a new song. I have not listened to it. I have not even heard a piece of it yet. My friends from Nothing More went on tour with these guys a lot, and it's kind of cool that they got to witness the nothingness of playing small places and everything to the oh my god, they're selling out arenas now, as well as they should, because that last album was terrific. I'm very excited for the new stuff that's coming out. My friend Ben, the drummer from Nothing More, was saying though that in terms of a single, this is not something he would have thought that they would follow up with. And there's a weird thing about Sleep Token that was challenging to me when they first came out, or when that stuff really blew up, and when I became aware of them, which is with the last album, where there's some R&B pop type of very current influences, very much mixed with some heavy metal progressive type stuff. And if you dig the progressive metal type stuff, then it can be kind of hard for you to enjoy maybe the pop stuff, because some part of you might just be like, oh, I don't know what this is. But it wore on me very quickly, and I ended up liking a lot of it. And the melodies and the hooks and everything are so good. And the lyrics and stuff are so great too. I did find it odd that if you say a couple things about love or even sexual things, that then all these women were on board. I had no idea that would have been a thing, but if you go to Instagram, there are thirsty women everywhere, just like, oh my god, the lead singer, and you're just like, what the fuck's going on? The dude in the mask that's painted black? Okay. But whatever. That's great. Good for him too. So anyway, we're gonna check this out. It's 6 minutes talking about current music and everything like that. I guess Ben was having a conversation with this dude about with the lead singer about their record label and everything. And again, you would have thought if they had to work with producers and they had to follow up the album, blah 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 blah, and they were being controlled a little bit, they would probably be forced to put out very poppy whatever. But apparently, they went completely the direction they wanted to go in. Respect to them doing that. I'm glad. And yeah, and they just fucking did exactly what they want. And nowadays, so easy to just keep getting caught up in the viral numbers of blah 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 blah, and then be like, yeah, how do we do more of that? But no, man, just stick to your guns and do what you want to do and what makes you inspired, because you're gonna freaking hate life if you just keep chasing that freaking algorithm. Ugh. As I sit here and do this. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what I'm hearing, what I think, what I musically, just whatever comes to mind. I'll talk about his voice a little bit and how to maybe approach that in certain ways from what I hear, but depends on what I hear. AI.
Well, you were late in verse, living on a promised word. Well, I am the rose you relinquished again.
That's great.
You and I are down head first in another world I had.
So, already very beautiful. I love the piano stuff, and every time I write my music, I'm always looking for ways to get pianos involved, because they're my favorite instrument and they're what inspires me the most. I like he's going a little bit quieter here, and he's not quite using this as much, because he's always got so much of the jaw sound in there, which is very indicative of his sound now. But sometimes it was a little too much. Like, to me, it was interesting. But here I get there's a little bit of more of a blend of that, which isn't very nice.
I have a feeling we're close to the end. So come on, out from underneath who you were.
Oh, this is almost like Deftones. I really heard it there for a second, and then they went in more of a major direction. But I love Chino, and I think he's going to be here. Deftones are with Mars Volta, which I fucking love too, and they're going to be here in Nashville, I think, in like a couple weeks, and I would love to go see that. Okay, here, sorry.
Come on now. You know that it's time to win my
So perfect blend, fusion of kind of that pop thing, and but then just affecting it just so much that it's not just go ahead and rap, but that would have been great too. But I love the arpeggiated in there too.
Are you caught out of my nano? Red glass on my light bulb, dark light on my culture, sapphire on my white gold, burst out of my chest and
So I don't know if I've heard him literally kind of rap yet. And again, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not a big fan of rap. I don't know if that really that almost like it hinted at it in the last album where there was almost like that because of how he writes his lyrics. He's very good syllabic-ally, if that's a word, the way he sets things up and kind of goes about these things. But I don't know if it literally entered into this, and I wonder if that's a new kind of thing they're going to be introducing here. And again, if you look at this dude, you wouldn't imagine any of this to be coming from just the dude. When you look at him, like all of this is kind of like, oh wow, that's not what I would have expected.
out in the vents, my blood beats so alive, my bite right through your lenses. Midnight in my mind's eye, drowning out the daylight. Godspeed to my enemies, I'll be asking for that call sign. You know the behavior, canines of the savior. Glory to the legion, trauma for the neighbors.
Interesting. I'm also super jealous that this is the video. Like they could just be like, yeah, that'll be the video. Like I'm always just racking my brain about any kind of thing if I could do for some music that I really care about. And back when I started making music, I wanted to hide my face. I wanted to wear masks. I wanted to paint my face. I did that for one video with my one band because I didn't want things to be about what I looked like or what the band. I just wanted it to be about the music. And then seeing people do exactly that now and have it work, you're just like, man. But you know, it is what it is. There's a lot of paths forward, and it's not always possibly the way you think it needs to happen. So that flag has taken a long time to burn, though. Good Lord. Oh, the drums sound so good.
I've got solar flares for your dead god, space dust for your fuel rods, dark days for your solstice, dancing through the depths of hellfire on the winds that start.
Man, I love their sound there. It sounds so tight and so great. The drums sound so terrific too, and the drummer is so badass. So much creative, wonderful things there. As Maynard said in a recent interview with Rick Beato, about how he likes drummers that write. I'm so much like that too. Even coming from a place when I was younger where I loved Travis Barker and was very inspired by him, he would write parts to the drums, to these songs that as a drummer, and even people maybe that aren't drummers, would be waiting for it to happen again. A fill that's coming up again, even if it was, you would be waiting for him to go, and you were just like, yes! And he made hooks with the drumming. And then somebody like Danny Carey and stuff that is writing these great things. They're not just playing to the song, but they're really just inspiringly wonderful writers. And this dude is the same. Again, it's very odd contradiction here for me to hear the kind of drier rap vocals. I like that they kept them kind of dry, though. And then this wonderfully big 8-string type of music.
From within my blood beats so alive, my tear right through my skin. So tell me what you meant by living past your half-life.
And again, he's not doing the vocal thing he usually did. Tell me right now, my girl. There was he again. I'm trying to think of some of these songs. I got a river running right into you. I got a blood trail. It was very much here. And now he's not doing that as much, which makes me wonder how he's going to be approaching these things. But again, if there's a little bit of that and a blend where you can still really tell who it is, that's awesome too.
Step in the universe and you're well past in the afterlife. You know that I'm sanctified by what's below. No matter what you do, no matter where you go, you might be the one to take away the pain.
wasn't expecting that, and it kind of makes me emotional. This music speaks to me in so many ways because we were in such a heavy, difficult place, and now we have this warm blanket of the music, and just some of the things he was saying about somebody coming along and taking the pain away, and now it's kind of okay, and it's got this beautifulness again. It's amazing to have these 8-string bass, like punching you in the face kind of notes, and then have that go major and just feel like it's you're just dipping yourself slowly into warm water. It's terrific. So I will say that it did take kind of a decent amount of time to go from that first beautiful part of the song to wrap back around. So I have kind of forgotten the melody by that point. I had forgotten the chorus by that point because it didn't show up fast enough again. So I'm like kind of reliving it again. And again, that's fine with certain songs where you might have to give it a few listens to really fall in love with it. And sometimes might even be better having to put in a little bit of work like that instead of just being like, I like that song, that's great. Think about me on my own. Which that is a great song. But anyway, here, we'll talk really quick about some of the vocal stuff that he's doing here. Everybody, to a certain degree, is going to have their placement that feels natural to them, their sound that feels natural to them, or hopefully approaching that as a practicing musician and singer. Something that feels like home. A lot of times for me, when I teach this stuff, I try to teach people to get into know, how to use their support, how to do the placement, all this kind of stuff that feels like you're not working to get there. So if I went, oh, go ahead and wrap your arms around me. Oh. So right there, I'm not affecting the sound at all, and my voice is just kind of doing exactly what it would want to do in terms of just pulling a little bit of support in. Oh, oh. But in some ways, some people might feel more inclined to use some of the jaw and things like that in terms of their resonance. And again, that's an inspiring thing about listening to him. It becomes problematic a lot of times when you sing because it anchors and pulls you back down, especially when you're going high. Go ahead and wrap your arms around me, especially with something like an E. E. If we want to go full jaw, we always think about Scott Stapp. Will I discern? Will I? And it gets down here. And the sound is literally being projected from down there. And again, the higher we go, we have to pull up out of there, so the sound is not going to be that the same. It's not. It can't go. So we think about Scott Stapp again. What if I? And the higher we go, we still have this attachment here muscularly. Anyway, when we come to the other part of what we're hearing here in this song, we're hearing this whisper thing. I didn't know so many students would have trouble with this, but I have come across this a lot. Go ahead and wrap your arms around me, or whatever he's saying. I don't know what he's saying. Is again a version of breathiness with just enough compression to make it regulated that it's usable. Now, again, I used to think everybody could do this. Again, thinking about stuff like, I want it that way. Is this, hey, kind of thing, where we take a sigh, and then we pull a little bit of vocal cord into it, and then we kind of get that regulation, and we learn how to regulate that, and then we learn everything is always starting off with sound and that kind of melodic nature of moving something around, and then pulling an enunciation, which screws with people a lot. Yeah, into the distance, ribbon of black, if I keep compressing that. Or, there is no pain, you are receding. So we hear him doing that here as well. If you want to get better at that again, learn how to breathe, learn how to support, and then learn about these levels of balance between this too much and holding back too much compression. So then you end up starting sound. If we took, and then we'll finally get back to the song. If we took Sting, every breath you take, every move you make, this kind of breathy thing like this, it's kind of like you're whispering a secret to somebody. And then we took that and we kept driving it a little bit harder in terms of compression. We would end up like singing like Lemmy from Motorhead or something. Every breath you take, every move, yeah. If you like to gamble, I'll tell you I'm your man. Yeah, so we hear that threshold there of, and just how much you're holding back. But anyway, we hear him doing that here, and everybody shut up. Here we go. Arms around me. I gotta hear that again. Woo! I don't. That's probably a sound effect, but it's still awesome. Arms around me, arms around me, arms around me. Oh, that's so good. And then you get to imagine, in terms of relationship and love, how something felt really great, and then it fucking was horrible, and it was just destroyed and ruined, and whether you're blaming it on somebody else or whatever, oh, that's really where it took you, man. It took you to this wonderfully beautiful place, and then it just went, bam, and smashed it into the ground. And again, the production here is so inspiring to me because I am getting further into this 7-string, 8-string love of this djenty, progressive kind of, oh, it's so good. And a little bit of that bend in there. Sounds like there's just a little bit of a There's a saxophone solo? What in the fuck? That's one of the coolest things ever, man. I'm envious of how cool that is and how great it sounds. And again, oh, it's just so great. Whatever. I hope it just keeps going like this and just kind of ends. One of the things, man, I'll say this because it's already been a while, and if you're still with me, hey, thanks. But there's always this thing about pushing into things that you didn't know you were able to do, supposed to do, or whatever. I made a joke about it in a comedy video I did recently where I said I had this character wearing 2 leather jackets, and I had the other character say, like, I didn't even know you were allowed to do that. In music like this, when you challenge things and you do stuff that people were not expecting, that surprise element is really big, but also that part of people that goes like, I don't know if I like this. I don't know if you're allowed to do this. I don't know if that's cool. I don't know if it challenges people. And then the people that get over that hump become really big fans because it challenged them. And this happens with comedy all the time, where you keep challenging people and you push them over a threshold, and they had to be led there. And once you get them there, again, they're making more of a super fan out of somebody instead of them just being like, yeah, I like that, because that's very important when it's literally challenging somebody's, all kinds of different things. So again, for me as a musician, I always want musical freedom. I want that inspiration of people just doing what they want to do. And it can go as far as 12-Foot Ninja, where it's just cramming together a whole bunch of different things really, really well. But in this case, again, we had this R&B rap kind of thing. Heavy, beautiful music with falsetto, like all the kind of stuff they typically do. Beautiful piano parts, 6.5 minutes long, ending with a saxophone solo. It's just challenging on so many different levels, and it's wonderful. And it did exactly what I was hoping it would do. Just slightly fade out. Another thing I'll say before I tap out here is I love the pianos in their songs as well, especially considering how heavy everything is. The pianos are usually pretty kind of realistic and a little bit washed out, like you hear here, where it's very natural. It's very, very easy with any kind of current music or whatever to compress the living shit out of pianos, because they don't cut through the mix, and it's hard to have them in the song without just having it be smashed and pushed forward and bright. And in their songs, typically it ends up being pulled back a little bit and ends up sounding more cinematic and kind of like video game music and things, where it's great. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed taking a little bit of this journey with me. I know it was long, but good stuff, man. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the album, so I'll talk to you soon.